Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. Sunday special.
Sunday special. We're back. If you guys haven't subscribed to our benefits episode or, subscribed, if you used to be a Spotify subscriber, go to subscribe.betches.com. Check it out. People love these subscription episodes. You also get ad-free. It's great.
Ad-free, day early, and the 2 episodes a month are the ones that we get like feedback on in a very personal, real way.
Exactly.
I mean, like when I talked about the special, it was so crazy to me. Like when I announced the special, and again, this will be the theme for me this month. I will be not shutting up. I'm sorry.
Show off the ring.
Let me show off the ring.
They should give you a ring.
Big N ring, Netflix red N ring. I would love that. I'm a pinky.
Right.
So what up? Dung dung. When I mentioned it, the benefits subscribers get it a day early.
Yeah.
So like 12:07 a.m.
They're just sliding into the DMs.
Tuesday, I'm so excited. All this stuff, the messages,
amazing.
it's just amazing. So yeah, subscribe.betches.com. So, and just like there was an episode we did like a month ago of me talking about it not happening.
Yeah, so you get you get the full story.
You really do get the full
you don't
arc
get
of like the emotional,
which
thing.
I think is great because everyone on Instagram, everything always looks like, oh, it just happened for them,
right?
Or you know what I mean? Like it just everything it's the highlight reel of like but they don't show the months where you were tortured about whether or not anyone was going to buy it and just being like in your own head.
There's even like people who listen to this show and know this podcast. If you're a fan of this podcast, we love that. Thank you. But there's people that are not in my life. I have people. Where did I go? I went to some memorial service and there was a guy there that like I've seen around, and he like I'm out there. Like I don't think I could put myself out there in any bigger way than I have already.
Definitely not.
He's like, you still doing the comedy thing? It's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I know, like, I don't want to get into it. Like, there's a dickish way of responding of like, yeah, 13 years, buddy. Like, I don't know what, like, but then there's also like, everyone's worried about their own lives, like, so I understand it. So it is interesting that like, I hope by this point I have posted about it and let the world know, world-ish as much as I can, as much as we can, because we got clips that we're going to put out from the special and all that. But there's going to be people who go, you do what? That like know me from like way back, I know that's gonna happen.
Right.
So
coming out of the woodwork, asking to borrow money.
Right.
It's a big Netflix special.
That's me. Please sign up for our subscription.
You're gonna buy your mom a house?
Yeah, no, I don't. Don't think the couple of shekels we got. No, that's where this conversation goes to. I want you guys to watch the special. I want you to share it.
Go watch the
Please
special.
Add it to your queue. Tell a friend.
Post it on your Instagram story.
Yes. August 15th.
Yeah.
August 5th.
We will repost you.
I will repost.
I'll repost you too,
Jordana,
even though I'm not in the star of the show.
I might. You get credited.
Yeah, I'm in the credits. Yes.
So August 15th.
Oh.
Tell people, make it a night, make it your date night. Again, the subjects are, if you like this show, you're going to love the special, and so will your friends.
Guys, I keep forgetting to tell you, I don't know why I keep forgetting saying we forgot to tell you our new segment idea on our last episode. Do you remember I sent it to you?
Oh, yeah.
I want submissions. So this was actually an idea from one of my brothers, but I thought it was very funny.
It's a great idea.
And the concept is basically like I want to call it, he said petty or not, but I think the real game is like petty or prudent.
Petty or prudent.
Yes.
P&P.
Petty or prudent.
Okay, I like it.
So basically like we're going to judge the things you did after a breakup as either petty or prudent. Petty, it's like
you did too much.
It's like you're kind of being mean for no reason.
Right.
Versus prudent, like it had to be done.
Well, and this was birthed from
a tweet.
Well, also from straight from the headlines. This is like Law and Order. Like this is from the Jonah Hill thing.
Yeah, we got the Jonah Hill thing.
The Jonah Hill thing is a great example of petty or prudent. So
here's an example of a tweet also where we would judge it, and we can start with this one.
Okay. Go.
Okay. Someone tweeted. We couldn't find the origin. If this is you, credit to you. Someone tweeted, well, my ex canceled the Spotify premium I was using, which unfortunately means I'm revoking her dad's access to my Disney Plus. Good guy. Hate to see him caught in the crossfire. Which is
So
a very
who's
funny
the
tweet.
petty one?
Right. Is he being petty
Both
or prudent?
Both
Yes.
are prudent.
I think both are prudent also.
Right.
It's got to happen eventually.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do? Watch each other's Spotify till Mom, whose Spotify is that? Oh, it's my ex from when I was 25. Like how long does it go? If not now, when?
Here's the thing. I think it's prudent if you did it the day you broke up. Petty.
What? No.
I think you've got like a couple of weeks to get around to it.
Broken up happens after weeks of thinking about breaking up.
Okay, so you think like,
Like
at
that
any
day.
time it's okay.
The minute you have said we are not together is the minute that you can stop accounts, the minute you can unfollow, unfriend, block, all those things.
Wow, the dad's really good. What if the dad didn't even hear about the breakup? He's kicked
he-
off and he can't watch Pixar
he
movies.
You better text the right person for the password.
I guess so.
He goes to her, hey, the Disney Plus isn't working. I don't know who this is. I've unsaved your number.
Here's a scenario. You break up with your girlfriend of years, right? You kick her dad off your Disney Plus. You get a text from him. Hey, I'm so sorry about what happened with my daughter.
Right. Melinda.
With Melinda. There's this movie I really want to watch. Would you mind
Adding
adding me back, giving me the password
I'd be
just for a week?
You can watch Secret Invasion somewhere else.
Say no.
No, get out of here. I'm not even answering. I don't answer. I'm on the non-answer
You're
team.
not okay.
I don't
They're
get
dead to you.
nothing in
The
writing.
whole family dead
Nuh-uh.
to you immediately.
What am I going to write? Sorry. I know this is hard on all of us. I know during these tough times, we all have to go through changes.
I think I would let him back in.
For him to send
For
that
a
text
week?
is crazy.
I mean, I would feel bad. That's what I'm
Can't
saying.
$8 a month?
That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that he sent it, I'm kind of like, he needs this so bad. Maybe I should just give it to him.
Hey, this is kind of part of the reason I ended this relationship. You're a little too close to me.
Too involved.
You're a little too
What
involved
do you guys
in
think?
our lives. We got Paul
Candace, what do you think?
production.
His dad asks you.
His dad, hey,
Candace,
can I get the
I
password?
really need to watch this thing. I didn't realize you guys had already broken up.
Hey, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just came out on Disney Plus.
I would feel bad. I would give it to the
I would
dad,
give it to
but
him.
I would also log him back out a week later.
So would I. I would stick to the timeline. Here's the other thing.
It's a pity move, though.
I broke up with his son. I'll allow it. He broke up with me. Fuck you.
Right.
Can you imagine somebody breaking up with you and you being like, say goodbye to your Succession binge? Like,
That would be petty.
Right.
and then they're like, no, we can work through this.
Right.
Totally agree.
They break up with you and take it away. Yeah.
That's a monster. Jorge, what do you think?
I hate to be this guy, but I would just send them the sign up, like the pricing to
link?
Netflix. Yeah, just the
The
link.
pricing.
You're sending them
And
the pricing.
Hey, you
with
can get the
with my
Disney
promo
bundle.
code, like referral promo code.
Hey, I Googled a promo code. I don't know. I'd be like, oh, God, thank God I'm away from this family.
That's a line drawn in the sand. Yeah.
So we want your petty or prudence.
Yes.
It's-
Email them in.
You did, the breakup happens. You did something. Is it petty? Is it prudent?
Yes.
We
Email
want-
uup@betches.com. Or, you could leave a voicemail. This would probably be a pretty funny voicemail.
I would love this.
Leave a voicemail, 212-589-8903 with your situation.
Yeah, that's, and listen, oversharing, you got guided meditations now. That's fantastic.
Check it out.
Go check out oversharing. I'm going to be on the road, Raleigh, Lexington, and Charlotte. But I've also added like theater dates. Like this is kind of crazy. So now with the theater dates, I'm in Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence.
That is just added to my calendar. That's my first kind of gig of the fall. Providence, Atlanta, Huntington, Seattle, Charlotte, Philly, DC, Baltimore, San Diego, Boston. More to come. Portland, Oregon is being added in. I know Phoenix is getting added in December. I know there's some. They said that there's some Florida dates that are going to be during Thanksgiving if you're going home to where your parents are. Like I kind of scheduled it around going to my parents in Boca, so I'll be doing some Florida stuff. I think in Somewhere around there. It's coming. jaredfree.com, jaredfree.com.
Something's
Something is coming. A lot of you have been asking for Florida dates.
Should we jump right into our email?
Let's jump right in.
it's a
I
good one.
really like this email. I know we have some behind the scenes action. This guy has it's from a male listener who has rewritten and written in many times, Candace
wow.
said. So
he really needs an answer.
He
to this
needs
one.
an answer.
Same question?
he just kept
Okay.
editing it.
All right.
He's worried. He is in, again, let me just kind of hold his hand through this. It is a little tougher to come out and as a guy talking about things that are a little icky, I think he's really worried about how he comes off. And I would say to him, I understand his plight completely. So I don't, and even
I thought
though
this was a tricky one. Yeah.
it's a tricky one, but the tricky ones are where the guy sounds like, I think to let people I will say this, there's not a lot of straight men who are just looking to have a chat about how men date.
Right.
And then it's for good reason. I'm not saying I'm a hero. I'm not saying I'm stronger. I live with that. How many times do I say, I know
Things
this is icky?
you do for women, you're like Gloria Steinem.
You're welcome. You're
Hopefully
welcome.
you're on the next season of And Just Like That.
Just like that. We can't get into Just Like
That'll
That.
be a different episode.
different
but, Yeah, that
episode.
show, it just keeps, it almost seems like it's fucking with you.
I missed last week. Gloria Steinem is where I left off.
Okay, there was another one. I forget what happened. Oh, the threesome and Gloria Steinem. And
The
then,
threesome was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, we'll get into it next time.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
It's talk about icky. I mean, that threesome, the way
You had
they
some
spoke,
good points. Yeah.
the way they spoke to each other was horrific.
It was awful.
Yeah, I mean,
show.
this is a whole nother show. Oh God.
Stanley. So moved
Keep
by
that-
it,
that
just
was-
like that.
Well, that was a physical interpretation of the threesome from Che and Miranda
Yes.
and Che's former husband.
got it.
That's basically what it was like.
That's kind of what it was like. Yeah.
I like the Jordana. Stanley.
Stanley. My Stanley, where is it? Okay.
All right.
Should we read this email?
You
This
want
is
to
a
read
good
it or
one.
you
Yeah.
want me to?
You can read it if you
All
want.
right,
Go for it.
I'll go
Yeah.
for it. Email, I love my girlfriend. We're great for now, but I could see money becoming our downfall.
Let's do it.
Money, 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 money. Money. My girlfriend has none. Should I keep fucking her?
That's the best part about you singing is we don't have to pay for the usage rights
That's right.
for these tunes.
It's a interpretation. Been a long time listener, love the podcast. I try my best to get my friends to listen, and it's always entertaining and informative, and I believe men could gain a lot from it.
I agree.
I agree. Getting straight to the point, I'm a 27-year-old male, and I've only been with my girlfriend for a year. But we're getting serious. We've met each other's families, and we are planning to live together next year. I do love her, see myself with her for a long time. Would a woman like hearing that?
What?
Oh, I see us together a long time.
Yeah.
Not forever.
Like until we die?
But isn't that the whole thing?
Um.
Holding hands as we ship off into the...
Yeah. I guess I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Good
maybe I
point.
need to have a talk. Yeah.
Okay.
For eternity.
Eternity.
No, I don't want to
I
be with anyone for
I see
eternity.
myself with her
that's
for a
that's
while.
too big of a commitment.
Is
for
eternity?
Me, even for me, and I love commitment.
There's-
Mike and I agreed.
Yeah?
Yes.
In the next life, we'll look at this
it's
thing.
binding until the rest of our life. We can relook at the contract. after
Right.
that.
We have to see if we come back in heaven looking at what age.
Yes. Agreed. We'll discuss eternity later.
To the drama. My girlfriend, 27, recently started a PhD program. She will be in school and internships until she is 31 to 32 years old. She is in a program for humanitarian reasons, which shows the kind of person she is, but it's not the type of career which pays well. I, however, am not as altruistic. I chose to work in tech because I want to make good money and be able to provide my children with the same childhood I did. I want to be wealthy, well off, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't love my job, but it will make it so I can live the life I want. My worry is that because of the career path my girlfriend has chose, the burden of paying for things such as house, etc. in the future is going to fall on me, which stresses me out. My girlfriend will come out of school with zero debt for undergraduate or graduate school. However, she will be making starving wages for the next 4 years and not really able to save anything while she's in school. She also says she wants to have kids in her early 30s, which is right after her program. I think with my career path, hopefully, I will have saved up enough for a house down payment, etc. at that time. I think with my career path, hopefully, I will have saved up enough for a house down payment, etc. At that time, that comes. Okay. And she has.
Okay.
This sentence, I think it's. What
It's
if I just
not,
shit my
it's not,
pants?
It's not written that
No.
well.
However, I do feel resentment building at times that the burden is going to fall on me. It is 2023. I do feel like it would be fair to split things evenly, and let's be honest, the suburban life has become expensive as fuck. I don't know if it's possible to do on one person's salary anymore, and it would be a very low salary for quite a while after she graduates. I feel like it's going to become the expectation that I contribute more and take care of her. She is not a big spender and splits things occasionally. Am I just being a cheap fuck? And if I love her, I should want to make sure she is taken care of. I work remotely and probably will for the next couple of years, then try to change jobs for a raise and relocate if needed. I keep trying to pitch cheaper cities to live in so the cost of living is cheaper, but for her career path, the better roles are in more expensive cities such as LA and New York. I do truly love her, but I cannot stop thinking about this. I understand she wouldn't be the person that I love if it wasn't for her altruism. Am I living in this fantasy land where I'm expecting too much from my partner? Do I just suck it up and if I want that type of lifestyle, figure out a way to do it for both of us? She says she doesn't care about living conditions. She said it doesn't matter if it's a nice house or if she was living in a 2-bedroom apartment to raise a family. But I think she's full of shit. I don't believe she would be as attracted to me if I wasn't able to provide her with financial security in the future. I've dated around in the past, and I do know how rare our connection is. However, I'm not the type of person that believes there is only one special person out there, meaning that I think it would take some time, but I could find love with someone else, as I really do want something that is serious and a family one day. However, I do want this relationship to last. How do I get over this? I just have this image of me slaving away 5 years from now at work while she gets to enjoy her work and have normal hours. Okay. Not that it matters, but I do feel like an asshole that I think about this type of shit and understand it could be perceived as superficial and just need some advice, even if it's shut the fuck up. You're thinking about things too far in the future and you sound like an asshole. I don't want to come across like one of those shallow people that demand their partner make X amount, but I think life would be a whole lot easier. Love y'all.
Okay.
Very thorough.
Very thorough. Much more details than most men give. I appreciate the details. I think they help.
I do too.
I don't think he's being superficial, and I don't think that he should shut the fuck up and he's thinking of things too far in the future. I think these are important things to think about.
Realistic.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very realistic, very important, and I think very it's a hard question to ask yourself because you know
Right.
like the right thing if you see in like the movies and storybooks is like money doesn't matter. We can do it, but the truth is people have different lifestyles that they want. And
Right.
part of getting to that lifestyle is partially who you choose to marry.
Right. And it affects the whole relationship. You
Yeah.
know, like, again, how you feel about yourself affects the whole relationship. So, like,
And how you feel about the other person.
Right.
And what their contributions affects the relationship.
Right. I guess I'm thinking of, like, the order of operations for that. You know, like, I'm thinking of, like, you know, if you think of, like, the biggest fear, and I understand this fear, it's also, like, to me, like, I just I've felt the same way of, like, how's this going to work out? You know, and you do get ahead of yourself. I don't think he's way too far down the line. I think but you go, if I'm sitting here miserable, that I'm doing something that I hate, not getting paid and not living the life that doing what I hate I thought would give me. Right. Like he even says, he's like, I'm not here for the fucking job.
Right. And he's self-aware. He's saying, I'm not that altruistic. I
Right.
want to make money.
This is not an Instagram post you ever see.
No.
It's like, no, go do what you love, get what you want,
Right.
have everything. And so he's going, no, you don't get it all. You do a job that gets you the money
he's
that
like-
you want to be able to take the trip that gets you away from what you do and don't really like.
Yeah. And he's like, if I hate my job, maybe she should also have to hate her job to get this lifestyle.
Right. But also like, it is funny that
It only works if we're both miserable.
it's so funny that what you and I both take different things from it, sounds like.
Okay.
Because you're taking away from it is like how he sees her as this.
Well, that is
Wait.
that he's also expressed that.
He's
He
expressed
says,
that, but it's funny that you
so she gets to do a job she
Right.
likes and have the same lifestyle as me.
Right. But
Who has
he's
a job
even-
that she doesn't. Who has a job that he doesn't like.
But to me, I keep hearing, how could I live with myself not being able to provide this lifestyle that I see for us? Like the sexual attraction towards him. He mentioned that. Like,
Does he?
Was that something I wrote?
He said he loves her, nothing about a boner.
Nothing about a
No,
boner?
no.
I thought there was a whole section about putting a finger in his ass during a blowjob. No?
No, he wants to make good money and be able to provide his children with the same childhood that he had.
I swear to God, he said something like this. She said it doesn't matter, nice house, or if she was living in a 2-bedroom apartment, raised family, but I think it's full of shit. I don't believe she would be as attracted to me if I wasn't
okay.
able to provide her with financial security in the future.
Sure.
So he
Okay.
is thinking about these things.
Okay.
Like, and
I thought he was thinking that in terms of like, it's unfair though.
of course, I think
Yeah.
that it all plays in, and we all pull our different things from it.
But
you
it's
know?
funny because he's saying that, but it sounds like he is less attracted to her because she's not able to financially provide as much. He doesn't call
Right.
it provide, but that's what he's implying
Mhm.
is provide.
Right, and if she's like, and
He's calling it contribute, but
right, and he's also saying she's full of shit. So he's like, she likes living this way, the way we
Right.
live right now. The way this year we go to nice dinners,
Mhm.
and she picks up the tab sometimes, but he's obvious. It sounds like he's paying
right.
for these tabs, and
But he also likes that she's altruistic, and
does.
maybe she doesn't like that he's not as altruistic. Who
that
knows?
could be the case. But he is saying this is why I love her.
Right. So it's kind of like, here's the thing. He could break up with her. He could meet a woman who's more in his mind money driven or ambitious in a way, financially ambitious. Let's call it financially ambitious. He could meet someone like that. She might not be as altruistic. What would he think of that trade-off?
Right. Well, I guess I think of it a little differently because it's like, there's an old saying: you marry for money, you pay for it every day of your life.
Mhm. Right.
You're gonna.
It's funny. My mom's saying is everyone gets boring. Rich people get boring slower. But my mom's also been divorced like 5 times.
Right. Did she ever have to pay alimony to the guy?
Did she have to pay it? No, she's
No.
always been very legally well equipped legally.
Yeah. Okay. So no, but I'm saying like this is, let's say I guess I don't look at it as like
what was there saying about money? Marrying for money. And
if
what?
you marry for money, you pay for it every day of your life.
Okay.
And like I kind of know a couple people who have been in this boat where it's like you just watch that they had this idea of like marrying into whatever they married into,
Right.
and then it ends up being not what they thought it was going to be.
Right.
Now you're sitting there and you're a waiter. That's your
someone
job.
else's, yeah.
You're waiting for them to die. That's what you become at that point. And
Right.
that's not a fun way to live with someone that you don't love as much. So it's like, I don't think of it as like you might find someone that's less altruistic. You might find someone who's got the career and the money and you love them less than the person you love now.
That's also true. Yeah.
And it's the one that got away that you let away. That to me is more sad than, again, this is like this is such a 2023
Right.
thing. No one had choice like this before.
well, I
Or
think,
the idea
right.
that someone else out there, he even says, I'll go back to the pile of single women out there and I'm sure I'll find someone, very male point of view.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like here's the other thing though, because if he's having these thoughts now and their life, I agree with him, it's only going to get more expensive, right? You don't want him to be like resentful. So I'm not saying he should dump her and find someone who's more money hungry.
Throw her to the streets.
I'm just saying, I think this is something that he has to like work through. If he's going to stay, I think he needs to work through it now, because it is the kind of thing that I think is a very important thing. It's kind of thinking about what is so important to him about this lifestyle.
Right. Well, I agree with you. That's the thing he's not really saying in this email. He never says, I went to her and told her it's important to me that I live with these specific things. I don't know what the specifics are, but like, I don't want living in a 2-bedroom apartment with kids. He's saying
that's not the life that I want. Right. Yeah.
She's okay with it. Well, I don't give a fuck what she's okay with. What do you want? What is your taste? He's kind of like offshoring his taste to her and then going, you know, I guess if we fall in love, we got to do what I can afford. And, you know, like, it's not really fair to her, I don't think.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that might happen is where he said he doesn't believe her that she's actually okay being in the apartment, right?
That's a miscommunication.
Well, no, I think in his mind, he's kind of like, she gets to play both the I'll live anywhere with you, while he doesn't truly believe she thinks that. So she gets to like sort of have the morality of like, I don't even care about money, but she has it.
While having money.
Right, yes.
While having
which is sort of
comfortable enough for her.
Which is sort of the most annoying of both worlds, because then you're not even appreciated for what you're providing. Mm-hmm. So I can sort of see why it's sort of like, he might almost rather, if he doesn't believe her, I think he would almost rather her be like, yeah, money is important to me too. It seems like you're bringing that to the table, and that's something that attracts me to you. Because I think people want to be, I think people also want to be appreciated for what they're bringing to the table. No one wants to think they're only with someone for their money. But I think on the other hand, you also want to feel like your contribution is appreciated and isn't like, oh, I don't even care about that.
It's so funny, and now I keep going back and forth on this, like, because he does have to let her.
It's an interesting debate.
It's an interesting debate, and he does have to let her know what he wants, because he's not really saying that here.
Maybe he's not even sure what he wants.
Well, that's the other thing is, and now I'm kind of back on his side. There's no side here, but when he says, "Let's go to cheaper cities," and then she's like, "Well, they don't really have the type of programs," and you're like, "Well, what the fuck?" I'm here saying.
He's trying to compromise.
He's doing some compromising here. He's like, listen, you know, who gives a fuck if LA and New York have the best versions of this? You're saving the world in your small way.
Yeah. In
Cleveland. You know, like
he probably feels like we're all kind of like we're in a relationship, we're compromising here. So in my mind, in his mind, he's like, I'm compromising by being with someone who maybe isn't earning as much as I would like in an ideal way, which it sounds icky to say.
Right, and it doesn't sound like it's like you're compromising staying with me is compromising. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Here's the thing: everything goes into the package of what someone is. Everyone has their own baggage, and I don't know if you call it baggage, but everyone has their own package of what they are. In his mind, he's like, I would have liked to maybe been in a higher earning 2-income household, right? But he's like, but I'm not doing that because I love you, and that means more to me than this. She's like, I want to be where the best altruistic, he doesn't say what she does, altruistic charities are in the world. But I also want to be with this guy, and that might mean taking a job in a city where there's less programs.
Right. That might mean me doing it a different version of adjacent to what my ideal
everyone's got to give a little bit.
Right.
I think you can still make this work, but I think everyone needs to like be real about the situation. And if he doesn't believe her, that's sort of like an issue in itself, because I think that would lead to the resentment of like, you actually do like all this stuff, but you're kind of like saying that you don't, so that you come off as like the good guy.
Right. You are right. That would annoy me.
Right, and you're like working, and their person's like, well, I don't even care about money. Well, then
but you're with me.
Yeah,
going, staying at a different hotel than you would have if we were with someone that didn't do that. That's part of your attraction to me, just in the same way part of your attraction to this woman is her altruism. Yeah.
And I think it's okay to admit those things. It sounds like things you shouldn't be admitting, but it's okay to admit, like, I like that you're ambitious at work so that you can provide for us. And I think if he heard that, he might be like more into doing it,
right?
Than the way she's acting, which is like, I don't really care what you do,
right?
Like,
And where you live, your pond, your environment is a big part of how you feel. Like, I was in Kansas City. I did shows there, and like, I was like having coffee at this. I kept going to the same coffee place that looked like it was like Hansel and Gretel. It was like this very cute coffee place, and I just kept seeing these like nice cars pull in, and you're like, and I kept being like, what do people do here? Like, is it cheaper? Is it, and there was just land everywhere. And, like, and comparative to here where everyone's squeezed in and.
Well, it's like you could make the same amount of money in New York and Kansas City, but in Kansas City, you might be the richest person there.
Right.
Whereas in New York, you might be like the bottom part of it. Yeah.
And you might be living you got the boat, you got the house, in Kansas City. Here you got the studio.
Right.
Like it's and again, everyone makes, but the difference is there's less jobs that pay you that much in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
I would assume that's just, I don't know if that's a fact. I'm assuming that's a fact. That there's more high paying jobs in New York City than there are in Kansas City. So you have to find, and this guy's like, I'm remote. I can figure out what to do in these places.
Right.
Let's do it. And to say no, I don't know. That
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think I would be like annoyed that she's not willing to compromise in that way, maybe.
Right. And then that brings me back to what you're saying, which is totally right. Like, how much do you like these things?
Right.
You
she's saying she doesn't care.
But
he
I
doesn't
do.
believe her. And
then he also has to say, I do.
Right.
I care.
I do. Yeah.
I want to be.
I want a nice house with a backyard, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
He has to be as straight up with her as he was with us. When you say, like, I like my job, I like the money it pays me.
Right.
That's what I like about my job.
This is the lifestyle that I want.
Right. And how important
and
is that to
I'm
you?
willing to sacrifice some things to like to make this relationship work. And like, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Right. That's the conversation.
Yeah.
Easier said from us than done.
Yeah, but I think it's a very important conversation to have because like it's eventually going to be a thing. And I think that's how resentment grows if you don't have those conversations of like all those things. Like, we had Ramit on here talking about like, what is your like rich life dream? And if it's like they're wildly apart and the person she actually doesn't care and she would rather be into her, like, which is totally fine too. Like to be like be more interested in giving back and really not caring about that. And if that's something that's really important to you and not at all important to her, maybe you're actually not a match.
Right.
Maybe she's like, I actually just care about making the biggest impact. If he's wrong to not believe her and that's actually all she cares about, and you feel and you can't stop thinking about this money thing, perhaps you guys are not on the same page.
Right. And that's when you get answers. And it's funny because like I wrote down how like I did think he was like he wasn't like mathing this out. And we've kind of like talked about, we've come around to this point of like, what are the things? Like he has never really said that.
Right.
What does he need? I need nice car and a mansion.
Right. And then what does she need?
What does she need?
Right.
I need a place I can do these 4 jobs. Like, okay.
Yeah, make it more concrete.
It's got to be more concrete. And then do you love me in the way I love you in the way that I'm willing to move to Cleveland?
Right.
Do you love me in the way that you're willing to take a lesser version or a different version of this altruistic job?
Right. Than your ideal version of it. Just like maybe his ideal version of it is living in New York, with a partner who makes the same amount of money as him.
Right.
That's not happening.
Manhattan penthouse. Not going to happen.
That's not happening.
Right. You're in Kansas
Her
City
ideal
now,
version
bitch.
is living in a studio in New York City doing the work that at the best place she can do it.
Right. Not going to happen.
Maybe not going to happen in this scenario either.
Right.
So how do we
check them off the list?
Yeah.
Okay, now what do we got? We got Pittsburgh. I'm just trying to think of the saddest places on earth. Pittsburgh.
No offense,
Buffalo.
Pittsburgh.
No offense, Buffalo. I just name every Rust Belt. Cleveland.
You're just you're just trying to alienate listeners one by one on your fingers.
I'm kidding. I love doing shows there.
Yes. And then leaving.
No. No. I love all those places. I do have Pittsburgh. I had a blast. I like Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's a little Walking Dead-ish. It looks like no one lives there, but I like it.
Yeah.
Please take me back. Please watch my special.
Please come back. All right. Well, that's it for us on today's episode of Your Podcast. We'll be back on Wednesday.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.